Meanwhile, for more on how the Trump administration and Congress should respond, let's bring in Shahid Hamid. He's a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution's Center for Middle East Policy. Shahid, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Eric.
In the interview, the Foreign Minister Abdel Al-Jabbar, he says that, as we heard, they were confused. They were first told that Khashoggi walked out of the consulate. It's a tragic mistake. Do you buy what critics call an absurd and laughable fistfight excuse that the Crown Prince, so says the Foreign Minister, did not order nor even know about this cold-blooded murder of a prominent critic? Is that even believable?
You know, it's hard to take these claims seriously. I mean, the Saudis have been changing their story almost every day. We've had 3 or 4 different iterations of this. First, it was Khashoggi left through the back entrance. Then we heard the rogue killing theory. Now it's the failed abduction theory. So now we hear about a fist fight with a 60-year-old guy, and there's apparently 15 Saudi officials. So I mean, it's hard to take that seriously, and I think that's why many of us here in the U.S. we feel like we've been a bit disrespected, that the Saudis are basically not telling us the truth, or to put it less nicely, lying, and not just to Americans, but specifically to the president, specifically to senior U.S. officials. And after we've done so much for the Saudis over the past years, for them to kind of return with this level of disrespect, I don't think we like being taken as fools, and that's what it seems like. The Saudis are assuming.
Well, clearly they're circling the wagons and trying to protect the Crown Prince, if indeed he ordered this. They deny it. Here's what the Foreign Minister said. He called it a rogue operation.
This was an operation that was a rogue operation. This was an operation where individuals ended up exceeding the authorities and responsibilities they had. They made a mistake when they killed Jamal Khashoggi in the consulate, and they tried to cover up for it.
So he's blaming them. Are we going to have another situations? You could see it now. They'll be the fall guys. He says there'll be justice. They'll be imprisoned or beheaded, all to protect the prince.
Yeah, so even if you take this Saudi cover story at face value, it still means that the Saudis ordered basically a kidnapping of one of their citizens on foreign soil. I mean, so that still is outrageous by any reasonable standard. So let's ask that. I mean, why would they try to kidnap a journalist and bring him back to Saudi Arabia, presumably for long-term imprisonment? That is still very, very bad, and from an American standpoint, should be treated as unacceptable. And this is where I think the question of U.S. leverage comes in. The U.S. has tremendous leverage with Saudi Arabia. As Lindsey Graham said, they need us more than we need them. We're the senior partner in the relationship. They're the junior partner. So let's put pressure to get some answers. And a Saudi internal investigation is not enough, because those who are accused of murder can't be the ones to investigate their own case. I mean, that's a non-starter.
So should this go to the UN? I mean, how about the World Court?
Yeah, so there has to be an independent investigation. That's the only way we can have any real certainty on this. One suggestion is a UN-appointed panel. I think that's probably the best way to go, or at least should be considered seriously. And I think Trump should push that. And then we can stop going with all these rumors and considering different cover stories. Otherwise, we have to take either the Saudis at their word or the Turks at their word, and that's just not going to fly, I don't think.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe it, and we'll see how it goes and what sanctions that there could be. Shadi Hamid from the Brookings Institute. Shadi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.